Rose hip is not the flower, it is what comes after. When the petals fall away, something deeper remains. A small, vibrant fruit formed through patience, time, and transformation. Across cultures, rose hips have been respected as symbols of resilience, renewal, and quiet strength. They appear after change, after exposure, after seasons have passed. Rose hip reminds us that beauty does not end when softness fades. Sometimes it concentrates. At Flora Amora, we honor plants not only for how they bloom, but for how they mature. Our work is rooted in whole plant wisdom, intentional nourishment, and rituals that support the body through every phase of life. We create blends and educational resources that work with the body's natural intelligence rather than against it. If you feel called to explore herbs that support long-term vitality and inner radiance, you can visit floraamora.org to explore our herbal library and offerings. Rose hips have been used for centuries across Europe, Asia, and indigenous traditions as a nourishing fruit rather than a stimulating herb. They were often gathered after the first frost, when the fruit was considered most potent. This timing mattered. It reflected an understanding that strength often develops through exposure and endurance. Rose hips were traditionally brewed into teas, syrups, and infusions that supported the body during colder months and periods of rebuilding. Rather than targeting one system, rose hips were used to nourish broadly, to replenish, to restore. In traditional herbalism, rose hips were valued for their density, not in weight, but in essence. They carry the concentrated energy of the rose plant after its most visible beauty has passed. This symbolism is powerful. Rose hip teaches that what remains after change is often what sustains us. From a nervous system perspective, nourishment supports resilience. When the body receives consistent support, it becomes more adaptable. Stress responses soften. Recovery becomes easier. Rose hip contributes to this foundation by offering steady, supportive nourishment rather than stimulation. It does not rush the system, it reinforces it. Traditionally, rose hip was used during transitions, seasonal shifts, periods of recovery, times when the body needed rebuilding rather than activation. This makes rose hip especially relevant in modern life, where depletion often goes unnoticed until the system is exhausted. Rose hip encourages restoration before collapse. Rose hip also carries an emotional teaching. It reflects the idea that tenderness and strength can coexist. That vulnerability can mature into resilience. Just as the rose transforms into the rose hip, the body and mind also change through experience. Rose hip honors that process rather than resisting it. In ritual use, rose hip teas were often consumed slowly, warmed, savored. They were not about quick results. They were about continuity. This slow integration mirrors how rose hip supports the body, gradually, consistently, without urgency. Rose hip is also deeply connected to the heart, symbolically. Not as intensity, but as steadiness. It reflects a kind of grounded love, one that endures beyond first impressions. This symbolism aligns with rose hip's traditional role as a plant of long-term support, rather than immediate sensation. At Flora Amora, we see rose hip as a reminder that wellness is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like rebuilding quietly, nourishing patiently, allowing strength to return naturally. This philosophy guides how we approach all of our offerings. If rose hip resonates with you, you can explore more about this plant and other traditional herbs at floraamora.org. Our herbal library is designed to be a calm, grounded space for learning, a place where plant wisdom is shared without overwhelm or urgency. Rose Hip reminds us that what remains after change is not loss. It is concentration, strength gathered, wisdom matured, radiance refined. And sometimes the most powerful form of vitality doesn't come from blooming again, but from honoring what has quietly grown in its place